It might be hot outside, but in Nottingham a cold war is raging. Let's talk about The Spy Who Came In From the Cold at Nottingham Theatre Royal. John le Carré's spy thriller is filled with espionage, intrigue and double-crossing, in a plot that can be fairly difficult to keep up with at times, but remains engaging nonetheless. As the titular spy, Ralf Alec Leamas is a man that becomes ever more disenfranchised with his career, but remains caught in such a web that it is difficult for him to make a swift exit. This adaptation by David Eldridge moves quickly, plot hurtling at the audience thick and fast, but it comes at the cost of some character work that feels a little thin on the ground, making the emotional heart of the story more tricky to engage with. Leamas is keen to get revenge on Peter Lasasso's Hans-Dieter Munt after his agent is killed. From the outset, Munt is set up as the Blofeld to Leamas's Bond, although in truth we see very little from Munt until the climax of the production. Instead, the show goes to great lengths to tell us that he is evil, but doesn't provide us with any visible demonstration to back it up. It's a fault of the play that recurs throughout, as there is a continual barrage of exposition to fill in the character's complex backstory. Upon his arrival in London, Leamas is met by Nicholas Murchie's Control, his handler at the British intelligence services, who has a fiendish plan. He asks Leamas to pretend to have been dismissed from the intelligence services and ultimately defect to East Germany to feed them false information. It's a knotty plan and one that is a little difficult to get your head around, although it is all explained fairly clearly in the second half as a courtroom scene sees characters recount the plot. Le Carré was certainly not one to glorify the shady business of espionage, and the story here is in keeping with that theme, often fairly bleak and seemingly hopeless. There is a little light at the end of the tunnel in the form of Grenier Dromgool's Liz Gold, a librarian that Leamas falls in love with after his faux dismissal from the intelligence services. Dromgool presents a confident, forceful woman who knows her own mind and is more than a match for Leamas, but there is a lack of chemistry between her and Little. The main issue here is that the script never properly allows us to see them together. Their initial relationship is too rushed. It doesn't help that Gold's character is very thinly characterised as communist without ever really exploring why or what that means for her. She exists merely as a plot device and never seems to shine as a character in her own right. This is a play designed to keep you on your toes and make you think. Little's Leamas might not be the sort of protagonist we are used to, and some of his outbursts do not quite land, but the show immediately draws us into his world, and by the interval you'll be second-guessing everything you've seen exactly as intended. Slick and precise with many hidden layers, this production receives 3 stars from me, but what do you think? The Spy Who Came In From the Cold plays at Nottingham Theatre Royal until 27th June and continues touring the UK throughout July and August. For more rapid reviews, give me a follow, and for more in-depth analysis visit brokenlegsblog.co.uk.